Over the last 10 years since I started the film journey, I have put endless hours learning how to color grade, workflows, color space. I even switched from Premiere Pro to DaVinci, and I'm no colorist at all by far. I think my work is pretty good, but I think this plugin makes it even better. So this video is not sponsored, just so you guys know. They have not reviewed the video. I'm not getting paid. This is for the love of the game, and I love this product. It has a lot of flexibility. If you're somebody who likes film, the film look, this helps you get there way faster. And if you're not a pro colorist like me, this is gonna help you immensely. So I'm gonna take you guys through the workflow today. Hopefully you guys learn a little something, and let's get into it. The first thing I like to do when I start off is set up my node tree. Very simple node tree. It's just a simple color space transform in through out. Setting up with S-Log3, since I'm shooting with Sony FX3 most of the time. And then since I'm using a MacBook, setting up DaVinci Wide Gamut, Rec 709, and then Rec 709A. But if you wanted to start that up, you just go add 5 nodes, and then we'll just keep it 6, whatever. Just go to color space transform, and then go to S-Cine, S-Log3, and then DaVinci Wide Gamut, and then DaVinci Intermediate, and then at the end you're gonna just do the same thing. Then DaVinci Wide Gamut into DaVinci Intermediate, and then you're gonna go Rec 709 to Rec 709A. So that already is gonna give you a good starting space. So as you can see, taking it from S-Log3 and then just converting it to a Rec 709. So from here, you can label the nodes, exposure, white balance. I don't really like to do that just because I already know what I'm doing, but let's just do it just for the sake. Let's go exposure, and then let's do this one, white balance. And of course, like I said, I'm not a colorist, so there could be a better way of doing this. But this is the way that I do it. This is the way that I'm comfortable doing it. So I go over there, then I use HSV, and I use that for saturation. And then this one, don't really need, but we can use this for actually contrast actually. So let's just add a contrast right there. So for the exposure node, I like to use the HDR panel. I know some people use the primary, but for me, I just like using the HDR. It just feels a bit more organic. And I just go over here to global. And if I wanted to boost it up, I just go here. But for right now, I think I really nailed the exposure. So when I use the white balance, I like to change the gamma to linear. And then I like to use the color wheels, and I go to gain. And then that way I can shift it, and it feels a little bit more kind of like when you're editing a photo in Capture One or in Lightroom. So when using Dehancer, it desaturates and it gives you more of a filmic look, right? So sometimes you want to bring a little bit of that color back, because I like to make my colors pop just a little bit. So what I'll do is use an HSV node, and I'll go here to channels, and I'll take away channel 1 and 3. And then you just have to go back and then put the color space to HSV. So now you can go here in the primaries, and then you can use the gain to like saturate, desaturate, however you feel. But this is, I think, a better way of doing it, supposedly. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a true colorist, but that's what they say on YouTube, and that's where we are. So that's what I do. And then moving on to the contrast, what I like to do is go to the HDR panel, and then I'll go to pivot, and I'll set my middle grade at 0.335, since this is what YouTube also taught me, okay? And then I'd like to use the contrast wheel right here, and that way you have a lot of flexibility to either pull it back, bring it forward, but it only affects the luminance. So I think this is exactly why you would set your middle gray at 0.335, and then the contrast, be able to play around with it. So that's the function of each individual node: exposure, white balance, saturation, and the contrast. And then this is the out. So now what we're gonna do is add an extra node, and we're gonna go in here to Dehancer, and then we're gonna add Dehancer. So the first thing you can do, you can also, if you don't want to do a color space transform without the simple node tree, you can literally just add one node tree and then just go straight here, pick your camera. As you can see, there's a bunch of cameras to go from. So you can go S-Log3 with the Sony, and then you can pick like your FX3, FX6, and then you can actually pick the format / gamma. Since I already did the color transform before that, what you're gonna do is go to DaVinci Wide Gamut, and forgot to show you guys the way I set up my color transform. well, not color transform, color management. So this is why you would pick DaVinci Wide Gamut. Like I said, which I did this in the beginning, but for color science, DaVinci YRGB, and then for the timeline color space, you can use DaVinci Wide Gamut Intermediate, and then since I'm using a Mac, it's going to be a Rec 709A. So once you pick your input, there is a lot to do inside here. There's the film developer, compressor. You can add different film print. Also, there's halation, there's grain, there's bloom. Obviously, you can do all this stuff in DaVinci by itself natively, but if you want a one-stop shop, everything is right here for you. I do have a couple of favorites so far. It's been like the Fuji Velviva 100, the Fuji Pro 400H, I think it is. The Kodak Visions, I like those also. The 500T is one of the best ones so far for me. And then also the Kodak Portrait 800. I really like that look right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through a couple of them just so you guys can see. And then I'll go through each individual panel so you guys can see what it actually does and see how I use it. But if you've watched my Instagram for the past month and a half, 2 months, every video that I've shot so far that I posted, I've been using Dehancer. So I'm just gonna show you guys the process of actually how I got there, and yeah. So depending on where I'm shooting, if it's studio or outside, I do have certain looks that I've leaned toward. And in the studio, I kind of really like the Fuji or the Kodak 800. But I'm gonna show you guys the Fuji Chrome. I think it's the Velviva 100, there we go. So right now, it does have the grain on it. I might just lower it down a little bit because it is a bit intense. So you go to film developer, you can also add more contrast if you wanted to. It does need a little bit more, so you can add a little bit just like right there. Gamma correction, but don't need that. And then color separation. Right now the colors actually look really good, so I don't need to do anything. And then you can also add more saturation here with the color boost if you wanted to. Or what I like to do is use the HSV, but I don't think it really needs to be saturated too much right now. So once you finish up with the film developer, then you have the film compression. And it simulates how real film handles dynamic range, especially in the highlights in the skin tones. So it softens the transition and is very subtle. It makes the image like more soft and clean. So you can mess around with like the impact that it has. As you can see right there, you can also mess around with the white point, make it a little bit more white, a little bit more off-white, the total range where it's actually hitting versus where it's not, and then the color density. Right now, I actually like the look of it without the film compression, just because I feel like it looks really good. But if you wanted to, you can also use that. Then you have the expand, which you can mess around with the black points, make your blacks a little bit more black. And I think I'll just add just a little bit more to it, like right there. So if you take that off, you can see it's just very subtle. You also have the color mode between normal and Luma. So once you finish up with the expand panel, then you have the print, and then this is where things get really nice. So this is basically where I used to film and then, you know, go to the store, get your film developed. This is the paper that they're printed on. So far my favorites has been the Fuji 3513 along with the 23A3 for Kodak. But it just depends on the vibe, honestly. Depends on the lighting, how you're shooting, what you're looking for. So what I like to do is just go through both and just see like which one fits best. For this one, I think I'm gonna go with the Fuji 3513 just because it's giving me a really good look. So if you guys wanna look, this is a before, so far and an after. And then also, this is what it looks like before Dehancer and after. And you can go to the color head right after, mess around with the colors and the shadows and the midtones, but I really use this tab a little bit too much, but it is very powerful. As you can see, you can make changes to the midtones, to the highlights, and I don't need it right now, so I'll just exit out of it. Moving on to the film grain, as you can see, before and after, you can use obviously DaVinci's film grain, like I said earlier, and it does work pretty well. But if you want a one-stop shop, it's right here. And what I like to do is just lower it down just a little bit. There are several options when it comes to it. You can go from 8mm all the way up to the 65mm, and has different ISOs also. So it just depends on how drastic you want the film to look and how you want the grain to like feel. Right now I'm just gonna do 8mm, and I'm just gonna lower it down just a little bit. So you can see it's pretty slight. As you guys can see right there. But just gives you a nice filmic look. So once you finish up with the film grain, there's the halation, and this brings back a little bit more warmth into the picture. And in Dehancer fashion, there's a lot of options all the way from 8mm to 65mm. So it just depends on what your vibe is. And I'm gonna go with a little 8mm Super 8 also. And you can also, you know, if it's too much, you can bring it down, adjust it how you want to. So right now I'm just gonna put it at around like 75-ish. And then you also have the bloom. And then you also, once again, have different options on what you want. And if it's a little bit too intense, you can always put it down. But right now we're gonna go 35, and I kind of like a little bit more, honestly. So before and after, actually that might be a little bit too much, my bad. So yeah, that's more to my liking. So after you finish up with the bloom, there's the film damage. And if you know, film damage is kind of like when you're watching an old video and you'll see like a little bit of jitters and like little stripes and scratches inside the video. I don't really use that too much, honestly, along with the film breath and the gate wave overscan. I don't really use these options, but they are there. I would explore. I would implore you to I would implore you guys to do more exploration. This is usually where I end it with this, with the look, just because I like the look that it's given. So this was the before and the after, and I like that. As you guys can see, it looks very filmy, and it just gives a certain look to it, which I personally like. So this is usually where I'll do a little bit of tweaking. If I needed to tweak anything, maybe if it was like exposure, I would go over here to the HDR and then mess around. But right now, actually, if you can just expose it just a little bit more, just like that. So I feel like this look for me is perfect. So what I'm gonna do also is show you guys a couple of different options. All right, so now I'm gonna show you guys a situation where I use this outdoors, and I'm just shooting with Beatrice on the beach. And what I did was just pretty much copy and paste the node tree to here. Already showed you guys how to use it. And now we're gonna just start off in Dehancer. So when I'm shooting outdoor, I usually like to shoot with the Kodak Portrait 800 or the Kodak, it's a Color Plus. Where is it at? Let me find it really quick, right here. So I like these two. As you can see, this is the Color Plus, and then this is the Portrait 800. Okay, let's just see. I think I'm gonna go with the 800, but this is what the Color Plus looks like. And then I like to use the glossy paper. Oh, that's tough, dang. All right, let's see what the Portrait 800 looks like. Oh, that's tough. Okay, gotta go with the Color Plus. So this looks amazing right here. As you guys can see, there's a little bit too intense on the grain. So I'm gonna go and push that back. And then let's see what that looks like. Right there is actually perfect. And then I'm gonna add some halation, of course, but I'm gonna lower it down a little bit. Perfect, just a little bit more. There we go. And then let's try Super 8. There we go. And then, you know, I'm gonna add some bloom. That looks amazing already. So as you can see, the bloom is hitting the highlights, and that looks perfect. And honestly, that's good for me. That is perfect. So you take it from here to here, and obviously this was just super quick, but it looks amazing. Like, it actually looks like it was shot with a film camera, but this is just the FX3. So we're gonna do one more just because I want to show you guys a little bit something I'm working on with the ball. We just did a campaign at this cool location over here in Miami, and shout out to Ball. Amazing bikinis. If you guys don't know, now you know. But you know, you guys been watching my videos, you guys see it. But we shot a campaign at this cool villa in Miami, and we're gonna use this clip just to color grade, just to show you guys one more example. All right, so we're gonna start off with DaVinci wide gamut, and then I already have the Kodak Portrait 800 on here. But let's try one of my other favorites, the Fuji. There we go, that looks amazing already. And then instead of the Kodak, we're gonna go with the Fuji print. That looks perfect. Let's go back to the film developer. Just add a little bit of contrast. That actually looks good. Then let's also see the contrast looks over here. So right now I'm in the HDR, and I'm just gonna add a contrast overall right here. That's perfect. So I'm gonna take this one away. But I do feel like it is a little bit washed versus the normal video. So I'm gonna go to the HSV, gonna go to my primaries, and I'm just gonna add a little bit more saturation, kind of like that, right? Like right there. It is breaking a little bit right here, but I don't think that matters too much once we mess around with the grain and everything. So I like the Fuji print right now, and then I'm gonna put the grain down once again. I'm gonna go to ISO 500, lower it down, see what that looks like. Too intense for me, so let's actually go to 50. That's actually not bad. Still just gonna go a little bit lower. Let's add some halation. We're gonna bring that warmth back. There we go. And then we're gonna also add the bloom, but we're gonna lower the bloom to Super 8. And then we're gonna add it right there. And look how quick that was, guys. You go from this to this in like 2 seconds. And obviously you can get really fancy. You can go in, you can change the blues, you can move around the reds, you can do anything your heart desires. But this really gives you a film look in less than 3 minutes, honestly. And you can, like I said, you can go wild in here. Mess around with the film breaths, the gate weave, all that. But if you want to just take it from here, like this looks amazing. FX3, and yeah, just look at this, looks amazing. So I hope you guys enjoyed hearing me yap a little bit about Dehancer and about color grading. And if you're a little bit of a nerd like me, you like this stuff. This is exciting. I haven't used a plugin like this before, so to even find out that they have one and then being able to use it and mess around and get that nice filmic look from it, I can't wait to use it some more. It's only been a month and a half, so I'm sure I'll find even more ways to customize it and use it to my liking. So don't forget to click that link down below if you want to check out Dehancer, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.